Hello, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley with you. Easy for me to say. It is our Wednesday evening here and finishing up another pretty warm one across the Triad area and hanging on to a surprising amount of sunset color. You can see it just over my shoulder there, but a beautiful view over Winston-Salem as we work our way into and past the midway point of this work week. A couple of things we're going to be zeroing in on and talking about throughout the day today. We're looking at cooler weather over the next couple of days. Temperatures going down, not up, and that's to be expected after our big warm-up, of course. Also, we're looking at rain, and a lot of it as we head into that Sunday forecast for us. That's going to be a pretty big rainmaker across our area. And then looking into next week, overall, the trends are favoring warmer than average weather building right back in. So we're just finishing up a warm-up, but it doesn't look like we're going to have to wait quite as long for the next one. So let's talk about the forecast here over the next couple of days. Right now, still looking at a beautiful view over downtown Winston-Salem. And in case you were curious, yes, the sunset time is still a little bit before 6 p.m. We're just holding on to some of that color because of some extra clouds reflecting some of that just around the sunset horizon. Now, temperatures for today, they did warm themselves up into the mid-60s. What's funny to me about today, you compare it to yesterday, remember we had all of this variety. We started the morning in the 20s, we ended up in the mid-60s. Well, today, we only moved about 10 degrees. So it's just kind of funny how the way weather works sometimes. So you look at the trend throughout the last 20 hours or so. Temperatures hovered in the mid-50s all night long. That's partly what got rid of our snow so much, is how warm we stayed. It's all melted now. And we only got up into the mid-60s. So basically a 10-degree change today instead of a 45-degree change. Just found that interesting. Again, we will be cooling off overnight tonight. Temperatures will be going back down. What's happening is we have a new front that's kind of moved into our area, and that's switched our temperatures to be coming in, our wind direction to come in out of the north now rather than out of the south. And so we're going to be starting a cool down beginning this evening, and it will take us through the weekend and into early next week. So take a look right here. I have us right there around 31, 32 degrees for early tomorrow. That's how you'll start the day, but it's not going to be a frigid day of weather. It'll be a cool start to the morning, but it's basically a pretty average February day. We haven't had average weather all that much. It's either been very cold or very warm. Tomorrow is right in between. So I have us in the low 50s for tomorrow afternoon, right there between about 51 and 54 in our area. Now, there will be a little bit of a breeze that moves around, and we already see this breeze outside right now with a gust every now and again. And tomorrow, you could see some wind gusts around 20 miles per hour, again, coming out of the north here. So there is a cooler motion to that wind for tomorrow. Something we'll be following heading into tomorrow is getting new drought numbers across the state, and we are still in need of some rainfall. So the question is, well, where are we going to get some of that? Right now, there's not a whole lot when you look at the map across the country, but we're going to find low pressure developing in the middle of the country by the end of the week. And we can track it for you here. As our cold front pushes away, high pressure takes control. We're going to stay dry over the next couple of days. Thursday, Friday, dry and right around average. Saturday, too, probably staying pretty dry and right around average. But let's look out in the middle of the country. This would be on Friday. Here's your next weather system. So that's going to kind of be gathering steam here across the southern plains and moving closer to us by Saturday and Sunday. It's really looking like a Sunday weather maker and a wet weather maker for us. Not stressful for snow, not stressful for ice or any of those things, but rain is looking likely around our area. And here's kind of how it happens, just one computer model idea. The timing of the system has slowed down a little bit. So this will be Saturday evening. We're tracking this system moving closer and closer to us, but you're still probably dry for any sort of activities that you want to do on Saturday. The time you'd probably want to be ready for rainfall, that would be Saturday evening. I would say by around 8 o'clock, just carry the rain gear with you to be on the safe side. But it does look to me that by Sunday, we're heading for a good amount of rainfall. There's not a lot of escaping it at this point. But it's not just us. This is pretty much a rainmaker up and down the East Coast. There's barely even any snow on this on the north side. So there's not a lot of cold air available Instead, what we're finding is this is a rainmaker through and through. So the timing on this would be Saturday evening at the very, very earliest, lingering through about Sunday evening. So it's basically an all-day Sunday event for this rainfall. And rain totals, well, they could be fairly impressive here. I mean, we could be looking at around an inch to maybe even a little more than an inch of rainfall. That's not something we get all that often around here. And it certainly isn't something that's been very common over the last couple of months. That's why the drought's been taking shape. Ever since October, we've been in trouble with the rainfall, and so let's try our best to get some of that. So let's take a look here as we go towards Sunday. Bottom line, the kind of impacts here, starting Saturday evening, ending Sunday evening, around an inch, and it's pretty much an all-day rain. So you should be planning on pretty close to a washout around our area. That's kind of the expectation. Rain totals forecast from the Weather Prediction Center, right around an inch to a little bit more than an inch. I could see some of us getting close to an inch and a half, but being that we're in a drought, I'm not going to go too crazy on those totals. I think around an inch is a good benchmark and something that we will be very fortunate to see, just considering where our drought is. You know, we talk about the drought a lot. Just a reminder of where we stand with this thing. It's not just us, it's most of the eastern United States is in a pretty bad drought right now, especially across the southeast, but in the Carolinas too. You know, we've been in trouble with rainfall ever since last fall. And we'll get an update on the numbers on this going into tomorrow. But really, I think this is something that we've got to keep our eyes on, because even with a big soaking this weekend, the drought is going to be more of a long-term problem without a really short-term solution. So we're going to have to kind of keep an eye on this. Forecasting the weekend overall, looking like a dry Saturday and a wet Sunday for us. Temperatures will be in the 50s on Saturday. Will be cooler with highs in the 40s with a good amount of rain on our Sunday. After that, warmer weather is looking likely going into the middle of next week. February does not look to be a kind month to snow lovers. At this point in time, you know, hard to say that the month is beyond us, but we only have about 2 weeks to go, and it's not looking snowy. It is looking to be warm, more so than not. Mid-60s by the middle of next week, and I could even see it getting warmer than that. So that's where we're going. We'll have a little bit more in just about 2 minutes.